You know what this is tonight, people. Emergency episode. SandCity Sports. We in the building. We in the building tonight. Stand up. Go New York. Go New. Hold on. We got to. We got to make sure all the socials. Yes, indeed. Okay. The IG. Yes. Knicks. I know there's a lot of Celtics fans. Yes. We're going to get into all of it. SandCity Sports is here. You know we had to do this emergency episode. Wasn't planning on doing an episode. We're doing the episode tonight. Hope everybody out there is doing well. We're going around the board with our socials. Ooh, receipts have been kept, folks. I was getting all of the calls during the game. Ooh, y'all mess with a history teacher, a history lover. Ooh, we going back one by one, folks. Lot to get to. We coming in a little bit later, but it is what it is. It's Cinco. Is it even Cinco de Mayo still? It's still Cinco de Mayo. Okay. Ooh. And we had a knockdown, drag out game in Beantown tonight that we're going to be getting to in full measure. Hope everybody out there is doing well. Buckle up your seatbelts. SandCity Sports is here, and we doing it. Hold on a second. We doing it. Okay, first of all, welcome to SandCity Sports. To the business. You understand how we getting down right now? We giving you the whole. Yes. Come on. Hey. We here tonight. SandCity is in the building. The Knicks. The New York Knicks. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Run it back. SandCity Sports on this emergency episode. You know who we been? Yes, sir! Yes, sir! All the receipts have been kept. Y'all was calling me when we was down 20. You had a lot to say. I kept all the tips slander that you had in your mouth. You was doubting Cat. You was doubting OG. You was doubting the entire street. SandCity Sports is in the building for the Knicks upset of the Boston Celtics. Wasn't even planning to do an episode, but had to get it in. How is everybody doing? Go New York! Go New York! Go! Yes, sir. Woo! We got a lot for you tonight. We got a lot, yes. And I know that we are in the Commonwealth. A lot of people from the Commonwealth are feeling some type of way. We're going to get to all of that. All right. But specifics to New York Knicks Nation. Shout out to CP, the franchise. Knicks Fan TV is going on right now. Again, I was thinking, hey, we're gonna do this, right? You know what I mean? Had things and this and that. But as I saw my boys come back from 20, as I saw them tie it up and battle back and forth, as we went into overtime, I said, hey, if we come through tonight, I have to jump on. We have to discuss every little morsel of what was seen. And so here we are. You know me, Casa and Su Casa, folks. We're getting into it tonight. It is what it is. You got to strike while the iron is hot. It's getting hot outside. Cinco de Mayo. The sun is shining. It's a beautiful thing in the Commonwealth. Okay, so we're going to hear for all of it on this Monday check-in. It is what it is. Okay, so buckle up your seatbelts. Wherever you're tuning in from, whatever platform, holla at me, let me know. I see a couple people with me on Twitter. Much love and appreciation. Jump into the commentary. I can see all the people on YouTube via Riverside. Shout out to Riverside. Like, comment, subscribe. But also, if you have something to say, let me know. I can see what you're saying. You know what I mean? And we keep it going, keep track. But a lot to get to. Hope everybody out there is doing well. You know, I work with great people. You know, one of the things they say is healthy, happy, healthy, and on the way to wealthy. Happy, healthy, and on the way to wealthy is one thing my colleagues say, so I'm going to borrow that, and I hope that everybody had a good Monday. Hope you had a good start to your week. You know, we're all going through different go-throughs. It is what it is, but certainly very fortunate and appreciative to have this platform, this opportunity, you know what I mean? So we start from that human side of it. I hope everybody out there is doing well. And you know, and just making the progress that can be made. I'm gonna let some folks know because certain, you know what I mean, people had stuff to say. People had stuff to say. So I'm just letting them know right now. We got this emergency. Yep. Emergency episode going live right now. We're gonna get into the game, and we have another. Woo! Not, I mean, we got the OKC. What's going on? See, I got so hyped up. I hit pause. I got so hyped up in my celebration. I paused the OKC Denver Nuggets game that's going on right now, which we'll be following. Let people know. They might be able to jump on, they might not be. Okay, plan on being with you tomorrow. Tomorrow, Wednesday at the latest, in terms of SandCity Sports and doing what we are doing. Let me make sure. Okay, we're keeping track and what's going on in real time. Let's keep track of what's going on in real time. And then we're going to get into what you saw and what I saw. Yeah, yes, sir. Okay, Oklahoma City got a little bit of cushion. Coming down the stretch in the second quarter. We are going to be following this game, but you know the reason for the season, folks. Y'all know why we're here tonight. Y'all understand why we're here tonight, folks. Y'all understand why we are here tonight, folks. Go, New York. Go, New York. Go. Yes, sir. Okay, a lot of things. Oh, my goodness. You know what I mean? There's a reason Boston is the number one sports city in the country. All right. The commentary today and the feedback that I was getting from folks, you know, and I'm gonna say people, it wasn't cockiness, you know, but our Celtics fans have been quite confident. Y'all quite, and you deserve to be confident. Okay, you defended NBA champions. You know, the Knicks went back and forth, and you know, got a couple calls here and a couple calls there, and Detroit blinked a bit, you know. So, you know, the way that the Celtics handled business against an upstart Magic team was very different than the way my New York Knicks handled business against an upstart Detroit Pistons team. You know, that's clear. Okay, so we Knicks are coming into this series having to step their game up, and the Celtics are coming in this series with a lot of confidence. And we saw what happened in the first half. We're gonna get to all of it. Please, people, I'm gonna say it again. Mi casa is su casa. If you have something, holla at your boy. Let me know. But we going in now on this game and how we got to the end result that we got to. Appreciate everybody that I see on Twitter. I appreciate the 7 people that's rocking with me. You know what I mean? Let me know. Jump into the comments in terms of we getting into the game right now. Okay, so first things first, let's be clear. There were some nickel dimers. There were some nickel dimers on my man Karl Anthony Towns in the first half. Nickel dimers. All right, those 3 fouls, I give him 1, maybe 2. Okay, no. All right, so the Cat Man having to sit out. Certainly, Knicks didn't have their full complement. We're still able to keep, you know, first and second quarter. First quarter specifically, early second quarter, this game is back and forth, nip and tuck. Celtics go up 6, Knicks come right back and tie it, you know, and both teams are in the mix. Okay, let people know, you know. Okay, first thing first. But if they, you know, let my people know, they might jump on, they might not. It is what it is. We're gonna be here for a minute. We got a lot to get to. You know, now that we on, we now that it's on, folks. Now that it's on, folks. So we buckle on up. Okay, but yeah, you know, you see the two teams, we're keeping it 100. The Celtics are the defending champions. There's a reason they're the defending champions. There's a reason that they had the higher seed. they've been a better team over the course of the regular season. All right. And then there's certain matchup things that we saw specifically in the second quarter, but I'm just making it clear that Karl Anthony Towns, a couple nickel dimers, we don't need those. We don't need, you know what I mean? Refs, hold the whistle a little bit. I know we got superstars that's gathering. You got 4 out of your 5 starters in the All-Star game on one court. I recognize that. Okay. But at the same time, this is big boy basketball. That's what a veteran official told me. I'm fortunate to officiate. What a veteran official told me, okay, and helped me. And an official that played Division I basketball and tried out in the NBA and has, comes from a great basketball family here in the Commonwealth. I ain't saying no name, but it's a great basketball family here in the Commonwealth that we're very proud of. Parks named after this family. Okay, and a veteran official told me, he said, this is big boy basketball. Well, okay, we out here, because I'm a men's league basketball player. Now, your boy got to get back in shape. You see, you look like I'm sweating. I need a little perspiration for the little perspiration we got going on for my new, but that's all good. I need all of that. I need this perspiration because I got to get back into my, because we got men's league going on in the summer. Okay, so I got to get, but certainly men's league basketball, we're talking college basketball, we're talking about NBA. There's big boy basketball, folks. We can play through a little bit of this contact. So those fouls on Karl Anthony Towns in the first half, you had some nickel dimers to put him to the bench. That's neither here nor there from the standpoint that the Knicks kept it close. They were right there, but then Boston made a move on them. You saw it. I saw it. We all saw it. That's when y'all was calling me. Y'all was calling me, and now people, I'm reaching out. People, it's silence now. I kept every single one of them receipts. I kept them all. Yeah, and we're gonna get to. But when my team was down 20, okay, when the Celtics was spraying and we was turning the ball over them, y'all had a lot to say. A lot of people had a lot to say. Y'all was talking. Y'all was ready. You went into your closet. You touched the broom. You was ready to pull it out. You know what I mean? You had a lot to say. Yes, you did. Okay. But what did I say? I said, hey, it's early. And then, you know what I mean? And we working out the kinks. All right. And I said, we're going to cut it to 10. That's what I told you. Everybody, I said, we're going to cut it to 10. That's what I told you when the chips was down. We was down a good 20. I said, we finna cut it to 10. Okay. We're going to cut it to 10. But, hey. And there was talk again, and we got it. So I've said what I need to say about Cat. Nickel dimers. Let's get them at. And then some nickel dimers on JB got a nickel dimer. Jaylen Brown got a nickel dimer on Jalen Brunson, who does a nice job of, hurling and swirling and doing it. Hey, that's my guy, but I'm calling it like this. Okay, so some nickel dimers. Let them, if the guy going, all of this, let him go to the floor and let's keep playing basketball. That's my thing. Let him go to the floor and let's keep playing basketball. Okay. So, Knicks had to battle through that. Celtics made a move in the second quarter. Here's the thing that you saw that I was confident in that y'all might have forgotten. Now you had to learn the hard way. What do they say? They say you fud around, you're gonna find out. Do we need to get that for? I think we need to get that for you on the screen. Okay. 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 Can we?
Today we're going to talk
Okay.
about how we can
Okay. Hold up. First of all, hold.
Today we're going to talk about.
I know what we're talking about, but we're not ready. I haven't queued you up. All right, hold up. Because a couple of, this is what happened tonight for a lot of y'all out there that was calling me. Okay, this is what happened tonight, and we're gonna discuss because this is what happened. This is how y'all was feeling in the second quarter and early into the third. I made it clear. People, well, the Knicks, this is just not fair. I heard it all. And why don't you fight over the screens? And we can't cover these different matchups. Nonsense. Catman do. Crooklyn Clan. Timberland. My man Karl Anthony Towns. He may not be locked down. He might not be locked down defender, but this is a man that's out of Don Bosco, Pride of New Jersey. You understand? Coming from the John Calipari, Kentucky roots. He can play defense. Please, don't. He's not a lockdown defender, but he gonna play some defense. And y'all had something to say about my man Mikal. What happened on that last possession? What happened on that last possession when La Cosa Nova broke loose? Huh? We blew that whole thing up. Y'all had something to say about my man Mikal Bridges, who had the highest defensive efficiency rating in the NBA the year that Marcus Smart won the Defensive Player of the Year. I'm happy for Marcus Smart. He has it. I'm happy for him, but you act like Mikal Bridges don't have that clink clink. You act like the last OG don't have that clink clink. You act like my man Josh Hart, who was getting rebounds all day, every day, out of position. Now Drew Holiday was on them boards. Drew Holiday was on them boards, and we made it clear that he's an X factor. Knicks was trying to pull away. Drew Holiday got an offensive rebound, kicked it out to your boy JB. Clink clink. Your boy Drew Holiday, extra pass to Derek White. Clink clink. So he is a problem, an all the way, absolute, no doubt about it, problem, Drew Holiday. He's the X factor for the Celtics. Possible dynasty. Possible dynasty. We don't know if they're going to be a dynasty because they got to deal with, they got to do, you thought this was. They got to deal with the New York Knicks. This thing going 7, folks. Buckle up. I told you. I've been telling you. Okay, I made it clear. We put respect on people's name, but now a couple of y'all. Hold on. This is what a couple of y'all had to. This is what happened tonight. Let them know.
Today we're going to talk about how we can find out and how much we can find out.
Yes.
And what it takes to get there.
Okay.
So first we have to decide how much do we want to find out. So let's say in this case, I want to find out at a level of 7.
Okay.
So I find that level on my graph, and I come horizontally to my gradient line. Where it intersects with my gradient line, I'm going to come straight down to where it intersects with my fuck around line.
Watch the language.
Now there's going to tell me how much I have to fuck around.
Watch your mouth.
To find out what I need to find out. See, as you can see, the more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out. And also, if you stay down here and you never fuck around, you'll never find out.
Okay.
All right, today we're going to talk about how we can find out and how much we can find out and what it takes to get there.
Because this is what y'all was doing with my Knicks in the second and third quarter.
Let
them know what happened.
So let's say in this case,
let them know what happened, people.
Out at a level of 7. Okay, so I find that level on my graph.
Yep.
And I come horizontally to my gradient line. Where it intersects with my gradient line, I'm going to come straight down.
Straight down.
It intersects with my fuck around line.
Little
now there's going to tell me how much I have to fuck around to find out what I need to find out. See, as you can see, the more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out. And also, if you stay down here and you never fuck around, you'll never find out. So I hope this lesson is helpful.
I hope this was helpful. Language. SandCity Sports, we family friendly around here. So I apologize. We had to go to some that was a little PG-13. We doing family friendly on SandCity Sports. That was some PG-13 right there. But I hope everybody got the lesson in terms of what we learned tonight about my New York Knicks. Some of y'all was messing around. Some, meaning a lot of y'all, was messing around with my Knicks. Y'all was talking very disrespectfully, talking about brooms and sweeping and get them up out of here. So y'all was messing around. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. Because y'all had to find out tonight. Did you get the lesson? Hold on. Did y'all get the lesson about that? Did you see the graph here? Please, folks. SandCity, we here. I appreciate my viewer. I see you on the Facebook. I appreciate. Let me know how you feel. Like, comment, subscribe, the whole 9 yards. I'm on IG. I see some people on Twitter. Much love and respect and appreciation. As always, me, Kasu, let me know how you feel. But we're talking about what we're on tonight. A lot of y'all was calling me, y'all was on this, that, y'all was down here on this horizontal. Y'all was messing around. The Knicks, we was on this vertical. We was on the vertical. So y'all had to find out. Y'all had to find out tonight. No lies detected. Okay? People in my fantasy league, family members, y'all was real confident in the second, going into halftime in the third quarter. Y'all had a lot to say. You fudded around, you found out. Okay, so let's get to the how. Thank you so much, Professor. Okay, we'll be back with you. Thank you very much. Okay. There's a couple things. Few things. All right. There was some ticky-tack nonsense, and people forgot that we about that. Now, we're going to give credit where credit is due. Let's first talk. No. Jrue Holiday is all the way a problem. I've been clear on this for a long time about Jrue Holiday is the X factor for the Celtics. He is what makes this team not championship grade. He makes them dynastic grade. Yes, Jrue Holiday. And you saw it tonight, what I was fearing, what we all witnessed. Why he is a first. Hold on. He's a Hall of Famer. I can't say first. Because we get, you know what I mean? Like a first ballot Hall of Famer is Jason Tatum. Okay? The JBs. Jrue Holiday is a Hall of Famer in my book. He's not, I can't say first ballot. He's a Hall of Famer. And you saw the plays that also, I made it clear the Celtics do have 4 All-Stars. Now, they didn't have the best record, so the Cleveland had to get the multiple. But Derek White needs to be in an All-Star game. We need Derek White in an All-Star game. And Jrue Holiday needs to be in more All-Star games. He's not getting the respect and appreciation he deserves. You saw what happened last night in H-Town based on what Draymond Green, the triple single, but player efficiency through the roof. You saw what happened. The Rockets was, okay, up, down 3, and then next thing you know, they get 20-pieced with the special sauce. How did that happen? Okay, because the player efficiency and that they just came together and swarmed them as a unit with Draymond Green being in the center. All right, Steph Curry, right? You saw how he, as they were making their run, had the ball back, dude down, had the defense shifting, and then made the pass on time, on target to Buddy Hield in the corner, wide open for that rhythm. Clink, clink. You saw that. Right? It's how you play. It's how you flow. It's how united you are. It's how enthusiastic you are, how encouraged you are. And Jrue Holiday brings all of that with ascension. He's off the charts across the board. He's a 5-tool player. All right. But his greatest strength with all of his skill is his unselfishness and team first. He's not talking about how many shots he gets. He's not talking about, you know what I mean, all this other stuff. He's paid the money that he's owed because he's so super duper valuable. But a lot of what he does is not because he's not scoring 17, 21, 25, because he's not a volume shooter taking ridiculous shots. But what he means to a team winning wise is through the roof. Okay? And you saw offensive rebound. He's winning possession. He got a couple 50-50 balls in the corner where he just came back, extended the possession so they can get another look and stay in the game. All of these things that he does. Now, with all that said, what he specializes in within that is he is a lockdown on-ball defender. I'm talking Rucker Park. I'm talking Chicago Public League. I'm talking New Jersey City of Tournament of Champions, St. Anthony's, St. Patrick's, St. Benedict's. I'm talking in your neighborhood park, the 2 teams, the one from the south side, the one from the west side. When we playing defense, nothing easy. Jrue Holiday, clink, clink. We locking it down. Okay, he's dangerous. And he's 6'5", and he's not, and he's a burly dude. Okay, he's a big dude. He's bigger than you. You know what I mean? You think first I was like, he's like six. No. Jrue Holiday is 6'4", 6'5". He's not 6'1", 6'2", 6'3". He's a big guy. Derek White. These are bigger guards that defend, that have high IQ, that are high character, that are they're just all right. Ainge, DJ, Holiday, White. And the JT connection, and Crispy P there. Al Horford, veteran leadership. Peyton Pritchard, so proud, so happy. Comes to the Cape, got Cape connection. 6th man of the year, very much deserved. Cornette, so on and forth. Dangerous, dynastic. Okay, now that all that said, JB, another person that had to work his way up, and you know what I mean? JB was able to keep Jrue on the hip and still get to the switches, right? Celtics did a good job. Jrue Holiday fought over, but then we got the switches that we wanted. Put Horford, who's a capable defender, on JB, and Holiday was helping over with his defensive efficiency. But then OG, we had the spacing, so we couldn't leave OG open. Now I'm going to say this right now. OG, take the first shot, doggone it. OG up, make a couple open looks. He up-faked a couple open looks and got bad shots, which gave the Celtics extra possessions. OG, take that first doggone look. When you get the skip pass, catch it on time, on target, you know OG had to touch. Y'all was sleeping on the last OG. Y'all was sleeping on the last OG. First half, Celtics want to shoot threes. We had Deuce in the game. We going to shoot some threes. Deuce was getting rhythm threes. Clink, clink. OG was getting rhythm threes. Clink, clink. We ain't even really unleashed campaign. We know we got Tyler Collier, young boy, pride of Rhode Island, shout out to St. George under the capable leadership of Dwayne Pena. We got shooters coming off the bench. Don't leave us open. Y'all would leave. Celtics can make some threes. Y'all wasn't closing out. Hand down. We had some men down. OG down the stretch, nip and tuck. He up-faked off the three-point line, and the Celtics got all these hyenas. These, you know what I mean? You can't, because once you up-fake, Drew Holiday is coming to you. Derek White is running at you. JB is running at you. JT is running at you. Al is in rotation. OG, take that first open look when you get it. Catch ready. Either shoot it or attack the doggone basket. Full head of steam to the cup. Make the defense shift again and then skip the next one. Two bad shots from the last OG where he up-faked and dribbled. He was in trouble late clock, so he had to throw up or just, off. Stop doing that, OG. Catch ready and rain it down. Or skip or keep it moving. The Celtics, they're too good defensively for you to once you give up that opening, then we're right back into equal. We're right back into just another possession. No advantage. They can recover and get back in a legal guarding defense, recover, they get back, you know what I mean? You've lost the advantage, you got to start all over again if you don't take that first opening. Okay, we saw that on the last play, whereas JB it wasn't a great look. Now was able to get it off, but Al was right there. You're giving up like 8 inches, so he couldn't get the angle that he wanted. Okay, he's like a split action move where LeBron does a lot of this. Where you go here, you face cut, whatever you want to call it. But the Celtics, Al was there. The rotation was there. He had a solid closeout. JB undersized, so he couldn't get the angle. Overtime we go. All right. Now, in terms of, so I'm going to go back to how we cut the lead, just in terms of trusting the process and all. There's a lot of who's talking about how many minutes Josh Hart played? Where's all those people talking about? Oh my goodness, Tom Thibodeau, he has people play 40 minutes. Where y'all at? Okay, Hoopers know what time it is. Out here, you have the best medical care. You have the best job in the world. You're with a band of brothers. There's nothing that basketball people, you're going to put me with my people on a big stage where we all grinding to get this championship? None of us want to sit. Plus, you got all these TV timeouts to sell the merchandise and the stocks and everything. What? Stop that load management, minutes, nonsense, foolishness. Okay? Josh Hart was out there like a gorilla. See all these freaking memes, this artificial intelligence taking over the universe. All these simulations, 1 million people versus 10,000 gorillas, and the gorillas just mollywopping people. Now, first of all, that wouldn't happen. Hey, now a couple more than a few people will be just getting knocked into the next existence. We know that them silverbacks. So some of us are gonna have to just be, to be King Kong. What did Denzel say? King Kong ain't got nothing on me. We're going to have to get Denzel on the screen. We're going to have to get now that come to my mind. SandCity Sports, we rocking with you. We doing it. Woo! I see a couple people with me on Facebook. I appreciate you. Let me know if you have any commentary. Like, comment, subscribe. I see my people on Twitter. I see my people across the board. Much love and appreciation if you want to get in. We got to get, because I'm coming back to my take on we're going to get back to the game. But we have to talk about what's going on. Y'all seen the Gorillas. I've seen the Gorillas. We got to go to the original. Yeah, we got to go to the original. You know what I mean? I need that video. Yeah. Yeah, we got to get the original. SandCity Sports. We doing family friendly. But we got to get the original in terms of gorillas that's out there. First of all, 1,000 gorillas. That would never happen. That would not happen. But now let's get Denzel. We doing family friendly, but let him know.
Oh, you motherfuckers.
Whoa, Denzel, calm down.
Okay. All right. I'm putting cases on all you bitches.
Woo!
Huh? You think you can do this shit? Jay! You think you can do this to me? You motherfuckers will be playing basketball in Pelican Bay when I get finished with you.
Take it easy, Denzel.
Shoe program, nigga.
Ninja.
23-hour lockdown. I'm the man up in this piece. You'll never see the light of day. Who the fuck you think
watch
you
it, Denzel. Watch
I'm
it.
the police. I run shit here. You just live here.
There's a look that
yeah,
happens.
that's right. You better walk.
Oh, there's the look. There's the
away,
look right
I'm gonna
there.
burn this motherfucker down. King Kong ain't got shit on me.
There's the line. That was not looking for. He got another look. Oh, those looks are. Oh, there's a third look he got. Oh, those hurt. Those hurt.
Shit. I don't fuck. I'm winning anyway.
No, you. Oh, those looks. He got 3 looks from the old timers.
I'm winning any motherfucking way. I can't lose.
You're swearing too much, Denzel.
Shit,
too.
you can shoot me, but you can't kill me.
Oh. Should we run that back? We gotta see if we can get the edited version. We're doing family friendly on SandCity. Bye. But whew, Denzel got 3 looks that was just, them looks was hurtful. Shout out to Antoine Fuqua, by the way. Antoine Fuqua, director of Training Day. If you haven't seen Brooklyn's Finest, please do yourself a favor. If you love Antoine, it's off the charts filming. Okay, but them looks was hurtful. Oh, when your community just shuns you like that, you can have it. Just go ahead. But when they shun you like that. But Denzel said, King Kong, what? He said, King Kong ain't got nothing on me. He said, I'm the silverback out here. So anyway, back to those simulations that you might have seen. There's no way that 10,000 gorillas are defeating 1 million human beings. That's not going to happen. Because you know what I mean? A couple, like the Marines would have to be taking one for the team. Because the first ones are going to have to get the hands of the gorilla. But like 20 people jumping on the gorilla, then we can get the gorilla to the ground. So that'd just be that wouldn't happen. But in the simulation, it's all just one-on-one, and the gorillas are just knocking people into the, that wouldn't be how it would go. And some of the 1 million people would actually be trained military people, so that would reduce the casualties. But 10,000 gorillas are not beating 1 million human beings. That's not happening. Okay, we're going to do some, we got some Spartans in the mix. We're going to do some phalanxes and all the rest of that stuff. And the 1 million people can take down 10,000 gorillas. That's the first point. Second point is, speaking of gorillas and silverbacks and people that's about that life, y'all are quiet. Your load management, you're talking about Tibbs because he had a short rotation and he's had a short rotation. Y'all are quiet. Stay quiet. I kept the receipts. I'm getting the Tibbs slander because Josh Hart, La Cosa Nova, we miss Ragu, who's doing work with Minnesota. You're going to see who Ragu is when the Timberwolves battle against the Warriors. But we got 3 of the 4. We got Hart, we got JB, and we got Mikal. Okay, and y'all saw how La Cosa Nova was getting down tonight. In about 40, whatever. We out here. You did not, again, I'm from the suburbs. Let's make it clear. I'm from the suburbs. I know some of the lingo, but I'm from the suburbs. But we out here. When it comes to basketball, I can talk my talk. We out here. Basketball lifer. Out here. My New York Knicks was out here. Okay. And so back to what I was saying about Jrue Holiday and just in terms of him just being a wrecking ball, just defensively, offensive, Jrue Holiday is like a Jaden Daniels type of a quarterback. He just puts fear into your heart in terms of how many ways that he can impact the game. Okay, but we had Josh Hart, who was gobbling up them offensive rebounds, gobbling up them defensive rebounds, finishing around the paint, making the extra pass, just running wild tonight. All right. And that was the energy that was needed when we were getting the breaks beat off of us down 20, staying true to the process. I told y'all about La Cosa Nova. Y'all haven't wanted to listen to me. And we don't even have the full complement because Ragu is missing. But still, how you think Jay Wright was building up them championships in the city of brotherly love over those years? With the culture, with the character, with it's not about you, it's about us. With this is a real program, so as a freshman, you're going to learn and then you'll play. And I don't care who your daddy is or what you did at AAU. And what those hard lessons, again, vis-a-vis youth sports, what those hard lessons, the fruit that they glean in the long run. But we're all about puffing up these childhood prodigies and they can do no wrong and we don't want to hurt their feelings. Okay, you can't skip those steps. The older I get, the more I realize this. You can't skip steps. Friend of mine, allows me to, just really good buddy of mine. One of the quotes, shortcuts take ages, that I learned from different fellowships. Shortcuts take ages. Everybody said that. I was like, feel a little bit, feel like somebody just smacked the spit out of my mouth. Shortcuts take ages. You don't skip steps. Right? So that's why my New York Knicks with the Villanova foundation, we get down 20, we still trust in the process. We going one for all for one. We still grinding. That's how y'all, when y'all was calling me, y'all didn't realize that we were just going to keep grinding and keep grinding. We cut it to 10, then we cut it to 7, then we cut it to 5, and we kept coming. Okay, so King Kong say, what? I can't play this again because we're doing family friendly. But you see the look on this man's face. Man, it's extra swole. Okay? But King Kong ain't have nothing on these New York Knicks tonight. Kept battling and battling and battling and got the doggone job done. Shout out to Josh Hart. Shout out to Mikhail. Shout out to JB. Shout out to the whole Knicks team. There's a team effort tonight. But I kept receipts. The foolishness about how many minutes people play. Y'all quiet tonight. Please. I'm looking for Tibbs. Coach, nobody wants to play for Tibbs. Worst coach. That's my coach. Been my coach since he done came to the Celtics in 2008 and returns prosperity to Beantown. Shout out to Brad. That was a Danny Ainge move. Should have never fired Jeff Van Gundy in Houston. Should have never done that. Granted, this shouldn't have happened. And Van Gundy is with the Clippers doing good work, very good work. Was really surprised that Denver laid hands on the Clippers like that. I thought they was going to win. Well, no, first of all, I didn't think they was going to win. I'm not reversing my take at all. I was all the Clippers all the way because, they don't fire NBA championship winning coaches because somebody didn't get somebody else a Krispy Kreme donut or whatever foolishness it was. It's just ridiculous. And again, the Mike Malone debacle, him being tarred and feathered. And they're playing much because Jamal Murray's healthy. He wasn't healthy when they went on their skid. Let's remember what the heck was going on. He didn't have a healthy roster that he was working with. Okay, so let's, we coach this so hard and just need a new voice and nonsense. Okay, but the Denver Nuggets definitely they knocked the doggone Clippers into the next. That was surprising. But how does this do? What does that have to do with Tom Thibodeau? Tom Thibodeau, longtime assistant, coming from the Pat Riley tree, assistant for Jeff Van Gundy, who was doing yeoman's work in Houston in the mid 2000s. Yao was healthy, but then his career was shortened because he's just too ginormous of a man. T-Mac was never healthy, so he never had his full complement, and they were always competitive. And then they let go of Van Gundy. What does that have to do with Tom Thibodeau? Danny Ainge. Brad Stevens was still a butler in those days. Danny Ainge swooped in and brought Thibodeau into the Celtics staff. He became Doc's lead assistant, obviously specializing on defense, Who won Defensive Player of the Year in 2008? Very good. A one Mr. Kevin Garnett under the capable leadership of a one Mr. Tom Thibodeau. Right? Had KG not gotten hurt in 09, we talk about back-to-back, that was then Kobe got his one, and then KG came back healthy. Perk was not healthy in Game 7, but Rashid was there, and Rashid balled out in Game 7, if you'll remember, in 2010. Rashid balled out. Kobe had a tough game. It was actually Mr. Artest that had the big bucket down the stretch in a great Game 7. So Perk being out in 2010, yes, but Rashid was there. That actually Rashid could do much more offensively than the Perk. But if you would have had Perk, obviously would rather have Perk, because you can have him in there to get some of those key rebounds, so on and forth. But my main man, Tom Thibodeau, folks, the disrespect, the consistent slanderousness. I'm here, this is an emergency episode. We're going to be more episodes coming to you this week. But I'm looking for all those that, okay? Because you see now the proof that's in the pudding. All right, you see the theory behind it. First of all, the minutes talk is just foolishness, as far as I'm concerned. Shout out to Allen Iverson. Shout out to Hold Your Own. Okay, you love playing basketball. You play basketball, and what you do, you play basketball. Yeah, it's a longer season, and you get more reps back and forth. That's what I'm talking about. Nobody's saying you should average 41 minutes a game in this track meet. Okay, but you can play long minutes when needed. All right, when you're healthy and get the job done, and that's what you saw tonight from my New York Knicks. Now, let's continue on this game. What do we got here? Can't see the score. NBA. Ooh, Denver cutting it in. Only an 8-point game. Nobody said that Denver was not a problem. I didn't. That's not. Denver is a whole problem. They just got their championship window. I said close previously. That's too hard of a take. Their championship window was notably impacted. They gave away a year. They shouldn't have let Minnesota beat them last year. Period. End of story. Now Minnesota just mad dogged them and beat them. Right? Denver has a big four. But Minnesota had a big four last year as well. Or a big three at least. With Ant-Man, who's just can dominate games, can take over. Ant-Man has the explosiveness and the skill to just take over games. Are we putting him in the same breath as, a 6'6" point guard, a 6'6" shooting guard from North Carolina that played for Chicago? We're not putting him in the same breath as that individual. We're not going to do that. But his the physical attributes that he has are similar. They're not the same, but they're similar. Where Anthony Edwards physically can dominate other professional athletes. Yes, he can, and does and did. All right, Karl Anthony Towns, he's the number 1 overall pick. Rudy Gobert is the Defensive Player of the Year. Michael Conley is a lottery pick. Doesn't really get a lot of credit. Mike Conley is a lot of like a point guard that I know and love, dating myself, but Eric Snow, point guard when the Sixers went to the chip in 2001. Mike Conley is a great game managing point guard. Let's not forget his dad was an Olympic gold medalist. Okay? Him at Ohio State with Greg Oden. All right, and Jaden McDaniels is a 3-and-D, just, again, wrecking ball. Jaden McDaniels is a lot like what you saw from Amen Thompson yesterday before Houston just let the thing go off the rails. So Denver has obviously MVP, Hall of Fame level talent, but Minnesota did too, right? And they just didn't, like Joker wasn't that, right? Like, it doesn't mean you fire Mike Malone, but let's just acknowledge that Joker, MVPs on top of MVPs, but when Joker goes head to head with Ant-Man, now, by the way, this is what's fascinating, and we are going to get back to my New York Knicks, so I got more to say, but let's just stay here for a second, folks. What's fascinating about that matchup last year and this collision is because, let's think about this. We are seeing what we would have seen. Now, it's not a one-to-one comparison, but let's just stay with me. Joker being Arvydas, the modern-day Arvydas Sabonis. You know what I'm talking about, basketball people. Yes, he is. What Arvydas would have been had we seen Arvydas in the NBA in his prime is what the Joker is. He's a modern-day Arvydas. And then Anthony Edwards, it's not a one-to-one comparison, folks, so don't even go there with me. But he gives you that Jordan-esque combination of skill, led the NBA in three-point shots, made, yada, 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 and explosive athleticism, right? Like, elite is not even the right word for his type of athleticism because you have a lot, he is the elite of the elite when it comes to, his physical ability to exert his will. Okay, and so, it's like one can, as much as Joker is able to dominate, because he's not explosive, he's not an elite athlete. He's an elite basketball player. His efficiency is elite off the charts. His athleticism is not. Right? So it's not an inconceivable loss what happened to Denver last year, but back to Denver right now and how they're battling against Oklahoma City, it did impact their ability to, they're looking like they're one and done, frankly, because other teams have caught and surpassed them. Right? Caught and surpassed. Back to the Knicks. My people. Yes. Just let folks know. This is not great. But people that might want to jump on, we will let them know. All right, folks. Here was the thing. Now, we got to talk about, and apologize for the, a little bit, what's going on with my Twitter. Come on back. Yeah, we're still live. Still live for you folks. It's good. A couple people still checking in. Poor. We had some delays. We're going to jump right back into it. OKC at 9. Here's the thing that you saw, that I saw, that people don't want to admit. That's why I think Celtics fans are even more quiet. And it's two things. First of all, yes, and this has been the case with the Celtics all year, frankly. Less so, defining the Celtics, not defining, but an issue. It's an issue with the Celtics this year vis-a-vis last year, right? Because you were there, celebration, Wick talking about it. Their offensive efficiency last year was like the greatest of all time. And there was all these indicators. They were the best team, and we saw it, and they won the championship and restored, and got, banner 18 and all that. But how they did it, they were so efficient, just given the elite collection of talent and togetherness that they had, that it was whatever, off the charts. Now, this year, what has been a consistent theme and what was seen tonight, in part, we're not going to just say it was the threes that the reason the Celtics lost, but we've heard they shoot themselves into a lead and they shoot themselves out of a lead. Right? They're shooting the threes in the lead, they're shooting the threes out of the lead. And they don't stop shooting threes, so they let a team come back because they just, with all this analytics, foolishness, and ridiculousness. Now, okay, so but that's not the reason that the Celtics lost. Because the Celtics are not some 7 seconds or less guru of go, specifically just run around, just sprint up the court and just jack. That's not the way that they play. And the Celtics do not look away from paint points. They got a number of paint points where, they might play from the outside in, but they still, and you saw it, like if the defense, they're just going to make you pick your poison. So if on closeouts, they'll skip, they'll throw it to the corner, they'll skip it to the corner. A lot of times they'll skip it inside, like Drew Holiday got a lot of like they play the whole, they use what is available. It's not just, they're not just jacking up threes. That narrative is no good as far as I'm concerned. Right? They shoot a lot of threes, and first game of the season, they, hit like 30, whatever, almost broke a record when they get hot. But when their percentages are more average, then there's opportunities, extra possessions for other teams to come back, and that's a part of why the Knicks came back. But that's not why the Knicks won the game, folks. And that's not why, Celtics people are quiet and angry right now. Because you saw what I saw, and let's just talk about it. Okay? Mano y mano. Okay, we ain't scared. Celtics are more talented. We're going to keep it a buck. They're more talented. But we got notable neon talent as well. And guys that can just flat out, like, you act like Karl-Anthony Towns, that number 1 overall pick. Perennial all-star. Jalen Brunson has become a perennial all-star, and you saw he is all-star grade. And again, my New York Knicks, under the capable leadership of Tom Thibodeau, with Leon Rose and Worldwide West running the show, right? Talking about when JB was doing his thing, under the capable leadership of Jason Kidd, running their Dallas offense, which you're going to be seeing more now in LA because it's Luka's team. And this is, if it's not broke, don't fix it. People in Dallas want to rage and be upset about casinos and then just tear down championship level teams. But the way that Luka needs to play and the way that made JB, that put JB, is that's 5 out, crack the paint, start the blender, kick it to shooters, a drive and kick style offense. And this is what one of the elephants in the room, okay? That the Celtics tonight, with their elite level on-ball defenders, led by one Mr. Drew Holiday, but including Derek White and Jason and Jaylen Brown. Tatum, I'm not going to give him elite, but he defends. We're able, again, because you forget who our coach is, Tom Thibodeau, defensive guru. So not only can he coach defense, but he can train his team to play against pressure, intense defense. Once New York, once we got in our stride, like once we got going, right? We can get buckets with the best of them. Up to and period. Now, I said what I said. There's talk about how we do this with some of these 1-4 sets. The difference between our 1-4, and I'm including myself, but the Knicks 1-4 sets, folks, it's not your typical ISO. Jalen Brunson is a willing and skilled passer as much as he is a shot maker. Right? So yes, I see what you're saying, but then let me counter that. That we need more ball movement and man movement, right? You just see JB dribbling and everybody else standing around. But again, back to the offense that took the Dallas Mavericks to an NBA championship with this 5-out model, what you're trying to do and what we were able and will be able to do, because JB showed tonight. Drew Holiday, he's a great defender, but JB has, I got moves for you. I got something for you. Drew won a couple of those possessions. He won more than a couple. Keeping him in front, contesting high, and JB just took him bad. He missed. So Drew's going to win some of those possessions, but JB is going to win some possessions as well. Okay, now Drew's different because Drew not only can stop you, but also can change your passing lanes that you're trying to get to. But the point of this is, okay, and we had some passes that were not on time and on target, but If and when JB cracks the paint, which is going to happen because he's not going to be attacking unless you double. We're going to get Drew off of JB. We're getting Drew off of Big Body Brunson. That's going to happen. We're not attacking Drew. That's no dice. So we need to force a switch to get Drew as a help defender. You don't attack Drew. That's just ridiculous. We're getting the switch to a matchup where Big Body Brunson borrowed that from ISO Joe. That's not I don't know who, but I first person I heard say Big Body Brunson was ISO Joe, who's on Nightcap doing his thing. So we cite our sources around here. Back to the point. Move Holiday off. Big Body Brunson now has a mismatch. Okay, so you see people are standing, but they're not really standing. They're waiting to fill the open space because JB is not a ball hog. He's not a volume shooter. He's not a me first player. He comes from the Villanova tradition, folks. Understand, please. And this is something that CP, the franchise tag Knicks Fan TV, has said. I agree. But understand, there is motion, man movement, and ball movement in this scheme because once JB gets past that defender who's not Drew Holiday and forces now the defense to rotate, he's looking. Mikal is going to fill the open space. Hart is going to fill some open space. Cat's going to fill some open space. OG is going to fill some open space. And he is going to make the pass on time, on target for us to get a rhythm quality shot. This is what happened. He skipped it over to the last OG. OG has to shoot the shot, the first shot. But he was skipping it to players who were in rhythm, on time, on target. That is the Knicks' primary offense, not the entirety of the offense. There's different. You act like Tom Thibodeau's not a lifer as a. SandCity been on for this hour. There's no end in sight, folks. There's no end in sight. I appreciate my people on Twitter. I appreciate you rocking with me. It's a Monday night. It is what it is. The sun is shining. We coming down the home stretch. We finally got the nice weather in New England. It is what it is, folks. We going in tonight. Quiet. Gotcha. Okay. People are letting me know that's good. That's good. But we going in tonight. And as we do this, talking about we got to get the people have to understand. People need to understand what the heck is going on around here. Quietness. What is this guy talking about? Too much dead air. Let's keep it moving, folks. We got to share the screen. I don't know when y'all going to start putting some respect on my coach, our coach, who done brought prosperity back to the Empire State. I don't know when y'all going to start putting, hopefully, a couple people, more than a few. Y'all was fooling around. Y'all was fooling around. Y'all had to find out tonight. Okay? Act like this man is not a basketball lifer, hasn't put the time in. The pride of Salem State. Let's get that Tibbs. Let's get that Minnesota Tibbs for the people on the state. Heck, y'all talking. Now, case in point that I'm getting at, folks, is so what we saw tonight and why this series is going 7. We talked about Denver, right? Am I saying? I'm saying Celtics, y'all been put on notice. Y'all been put on notice. Okay? I'm not saying it's a 1-1 and what's happened to Denver last year is going to happen to Boston, even though my team is my team. And if the Knicks do beat the Celtics, We become the championship favorites. I don't care about what's going on in OKC and Cleveland. If the Knicks win this series, 2025 is our year. This is our championship. I said what I said. Okay, long ways away from that. I'm not saying that we're the favorites in this series because we stole game one. I mean, long ways away. But should it happen, I will shed a tear, maybe more than one, because I respect and appreciate this Boston Celtics team. And there's been some foolishness about them breaking this team up. I'll tell you this right now. Nonsense. And by the way, Wick has not happened that, the Celtics, Wick still has majority control. It's going to be a transition over the years, but as long as Wick is in control, we're not going to have no nonsense like has happened in the Lone Star State. Or I'm saying we. There's not going to be any nonsense like what's happened down in Dallas with Wick at the helm in terms of breaking this. You do that at your own risk. Try to save a couple dollars here. Any one of these pieces are moved, all bets are off. Championship window that much closer to being closed. You need this group. It's the group, and everybody knows that. It's specifically including Brad Stevens. That's why you keep these guys together for the next 3 or 4 years to win as many championships as possible. And before you even consider making it, yes, luxury tax, second apron, it is what it is. As was noted, you're going to get all that money back when you sell the team. It might be in a decade, 15 years, but don't talk to me about losing $10 million here or 15. Now, again, billionaires don't want to lose any money, but you lose $10, $15 million here. What is that? So let's say it's 10. Let's just say for sake of 10. Let's say you lose $10 million. Oh, let's just say 15. Let's just say 15. So over 10 years, if you're losing $15 million, 50, all right, I can do this. I'm not, then you've lost $150 million over the span of, the 10-year window. But you bought the team for, you're making billions of dollars when you sell the team. So that $150 million, that 0.115 billion, right? That's just something that you can add at the end to make it, once somebody's willing to pay $4 billion or $5 billion for something, who says they're not willing to pay $5.15 billion for that same thing? Right? I'm willing to pay $5 billion, but I won't pay 5.15, especially with these, all this, stuff that you can do with these billionaires. You can spread stuff out. Shout out to Bobby Bonilla and Bobby Bonilla Day. Bobby Bonilla is still getting cash and checks. July 1st is a beautiful day. Not just because it's like the unofficial start of summer here on the Cape, that first, day of July. Because the Cape, the 4th of July. Ooh, Denver, 5-point game going into the 4th. Interesting. You see what I'm saying? So this nonsense, Mark Cuban talk, you're getting all that money back and then some when you sell the team. Now, of course, millionaires and billionaires, they don't like to take losses ever. All right, so then don't win championships. Oh, then don't win championships. Oh, I got it. You do have to go in the second apron, but you that many more games, the arena's full, that much more TV viewership. Okay, there's things that chips away at that you have. Now, it's one thing if you're in the second apron and you're just a bum team that's losing. But the Celtics are in the second apron and they're competing for championships year after year, in a dynastic way. All right. So before I get back to my Knicks, that type, if even the consideration of breaking this group up, any of the pieces, including Crispy P, you're okay. You'll end up like Milwaukee quick. You need that 4 has to stay together. 5. Because Crispy P wants to be here. Needs to stay together. Needs. What happened when the Celtics traded Perk? Right. It was over. We're going to get Jeff Green. It was over. Okay. So, Tibbs, young Tibbs, the offense of the Knicks, how Tibbs schemes it, which looks like just a 1-4, it's not. Can execute against the Celtics team, period. It can. It did. It will. It's not just because they shoot a lot of threes. And for me, I keep going back to this. Personnel's about the same. Where's Jeff Van Gundy and where's Charles Lee? Charles Lee's in Charlotte. Jeff Van Gundy's with the Clippers. Those guys that you don't just right. Those are huge losses. Charles Lee, up and coming coach from the Coach Bud tradition, right? And Jeff Van Gundy, right, came up a little bit ahead of Tibbs, but of that same generation, Pat Riley tree. They're just huge. They're invaluable. And if Jeff Van Gundy wasn't that important, then why did the Clippers headhunt him? If his role for the Celtics if he was just another front office, former player, former coach, that just hang around and, for Brad Stevens, if he was just a guy, if Jeff Van Gundy was just a guy, then why did Daddy Warbucks come and headhunt him? He's just a guy. Because he's not just a guy. He's a very important part of the brain trust. Charles Lee, an important part of the brain trust. So, Celtics defensively, not being the lockdown team that they were last year. Yeah. Yeah, that's yeah. That's all that needs to be said on that. Okay, folks. Hour and change, no end in sight. Shout out to Young Tibbs. All day, every day. Gonna be with you. We're gonna stay for the. We got about 15 more 20. You know what I mean? We're doing what we're doing. Commentary. Okay, it is what it is. You know what time? Remains our time to shine. Go New York, go New York, go. With this emergency episode after the New York Knicks stun the Celtics, the league writ large, all receipts kept. Okay, and win game 1 in Boston after being down 20 in the third quarter. And so we're breaking that down and just letting it be known. You mess around, you find out, folks. You mess around, you find out. Yeah, let people know. People might jump on. For the last go round, might jump on, might not. It is what it is. Okay, so this is anybody's ball game. And Denver is showing an OKC, who I had. You are what your record says you are. So we'll see how they handle the pressure. Okay, we'll see, because Denver's been there. Right? Denver in this game is what Minnesota was last year. So they've been there. How Minnesota came in and stole their thunder and impacted their championship window. That's what they're trying to do to OKC. So OKC, we'll see. Once again, people forget 2016, San Antonio Spurs won 67 games. We're on a crash course with the Golden State Warriors for the right to compete against LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers in the finals. They didn't make it there because they didn't even make the Western Conference Finals because an upstart Oklahoma City team got them up and out of there. Right? That was the last. It wasn't the 24. It was the 2016 Spurs were the team that was the last opportunity to win a championship, and they didn't even make the Western Conference Finals, where they were, favored to be there and battle with Golden State, who had won 73 games, but it never happened. Okay, and Greg Popovich in the news. Let's get Pop in his press conference. Okay, we talked a little bit of Tibbs. It's only right that we get Pop, who had his first press conference after having a stroke. See if we can get the image. Yes, indeed. It's great. Talked about this previously. Popovich is now moving into the front office. He's a luminary. You know, the grand old man for the Spurs, and then beyond that for the NBA writ large. So this is awesome. Come on back to me now. Yep, we sharing the screen. Come on back, Riverside. We rocking with you. We're gonna be with you for a little while longer, folks, on SandCity Sports. Appreciate the commentary that I saw on the Facebook. Appreciate it. I'll go ahead and let me scroll down. See if I can see what was said. Then we'll talk pop. Then we're going to do some slice of life stuff. And we're going to keep it moving and grooving, folks. Let's go to, hold on, I need to see the live. We live, we live right now, folks. Come on. Yeah, we live. Okay. I got you. Wanted to see the comment if I can see it. Gotta step up my production game. We're gonna keep it moving and grooving. We're gonna keep it moving and grooving for the people, folks. Okay. Thunder bounce ahead 10. Pop. Health is the wealth. First things first. You gotta hold on here. Okay, so we're sharing the screen and seeing a little bit of but we're good. We're good. Excellent. Take care of yourself, get healthy, get right, and go from there. You know, but it is you know, this is generational, you know. Manu on his right, Tim Duncan on his left, you know, and that impact that you have on people, and how it just carries over through the years, right? And so, shout out to Popovich. Back in the saddle, but taking it slow and taking it one day at a time. Much love and appreciation and respect. We're going to hold off on going into some of these other series, right? Indy did their thing against Cleveland. Didn't see that coming. Cleveland missing Garland for sure. And Indy has played well. It was noted that, you know, Indy got the best of that regular season series, beat him 3 out of 4 times. But I was still, and remain firmly committed to the Cavs. But big win. Cavs not full strength, but we're not going to make excuses. Minnesota, Golden State, knockdown, drag out. Again, Minnesota is Houston with experience. Okay, and an all-world player in Anthony Edwards, who does not shy away. Jalen Green really faded. Anthony Edwards is not going to fade in any way, shape, or form. Okay. Let's get a couple things. We got a couple tabs open and a few more. So we're going to balance those out. And then we're going to come down the home stretch. We're going to do our slice of life. As we conclude, we got a lot of stuff. I'm still seeing a little bit of we're there. Let me try to X out a couple more things just in case. X out as many as possible. You know, reduce as much as we can. Recycle, reduce, reuse. Some really great articles, actually. You know, I don't know about you. I clip articles and just tuck them away. Clip the articles, tuck them away for when you get to those times where you have the time and you can go back and appreciate. But we got a couple things we need to get to in terms of slice of life. Emergency episode, necessary episode, folks. I think I've saved something a couple times, but it's like invisible ink. So I'm not going to fiddle with this too much. I will come back. See, it's there, but it's in invisible ink. So now I got to clip it again. This is nuts. World of technical difficulties, and see if I can. That's amazing. So we'll come back to that. It's clipped, but it's in the invisible. What is the invisible link? Okay. So we're gonna come back. We're gonna do at least 3 of the slice of life, and then we're gonna be on and about it on this Monday emergency SandCity Sports check-in. Number of things that I must get to and I must speak on. Yep, had that from Pop. Yes. The late group, yes indeed. So we just going up the ladder. And we got the first that we're gonna get to. We staying in New York today, folks. And I can use that accent. Because I'm born in the great state of New Jersey, folks. I'm born in the great state of New Jersey, but I grew up in the Empire State. Grew up in the Empire State. Yes, indeed. Okay, so with detecting, I hope this is coming through. I'm seeing a little bit on my end, but we're going to power right through that. As they say, we're going to make hay while the sun shines. And keep this moving and grooving. I'm even going to X out a couple more screens. Just to... Might have to delete some cookies as well. That's neither here nor there. We're doing 3. And first up, here we go. In the great state, in the Empire State. Journey over destination, folks. Journey over destination.
Baking, not about microwave. And food that's baked tastes better. Yeah. But if you check on it every 5 minutes, it looks like it ain't done.
Tell him, Kenny.
And but it's getting done. Look, I went from...
Hold up. What the heck? Technical difficulties. Now we got to come back. Hold on. We're sharing.
Not about microwave. And food that's baked tastes better. Yeah. But if you check on it every 5 minutes, it looks like it ain't done.
Yep.
And but it's getting done. Look, I went from not being recruited as a junior. I didn't have one scholarship offer.
What?
To being the top 5 player in the country my senior year.
How so?
In 6 months.
How so,
6
man?
months. Work ethic. I used to hang out with my high school coach all the time.
Yep.
He was a straight shooter. I loved him to death, Jack Kerman. He goes, "Hey, Kenny, what do you want to do in life?" Because he cared about me. I'm like, "I want to be an NBA player." He goes, "Oh, I didn't know that because you don't work hard enough."
Oh, wow.
But he said it so casually that I knew he was serious and he wasn't trying to motivate me. And so that summer, I just did the ordinary things extra. Instead of running up, I lived on the 12th floor. Instead of taking the elevator, I walked up the stairs or ran up the stairs when I went home. So you do that 4 times a day, and then you do your work. I just did extra things that were ordinary. I didn't grow.
Right.
I didn't get this crazy growth.
Yeah, because you hear
spurt.
people say, yeah, he grew like 5 inches over the summer.
No. I just did the ordinary
You just
things
grew.
extra. I grew mentally. I came back. So he saw me then, and I went out in summer and came back. He's like, "I've never seen anyone get that much better in 3 months." I said, "What did you do?" And I told him the conversation. I said, "Your conversation changed my direction." The world is about...
We're going to run that back again.
Baking, not about microwave. And food that's baked tastes better.
Yeah.
But if you check on it every 5 minutes, it looks like it ain't done. And but it's getting done. Look, I went from not being recruited as a junior. I didn't have one scholarship offer. To being the top 5 player in the country my senior year.
How so?
In 6 months.
How so,
6
man?
months. Work ethic. I used to hang out with my high school coach all the time. He was a straight shooter. I loved him to death, Jack Kerman. He goes, "Hey, Kenny, what do you want to do in life?" Because he cared about me. I'm like, "I want to be an NBA player." He goes, "Oh, I didn't know that because you don't work hard enough."
Oh, wow.
But he said it so casually that I knew he was serious and he wasn't trying to motivate me. And so that summer, I just did the ordinary things extra. Instead of running up, I lived on the 12th floor. Instead of taking the elevator, I walked up the stairs or ran up the stairs when I went home. So you do that 4 times a day, and then you do your work. I just did extra things that were ordinary. I didn't grow.
Right.
I didn't like get this crazy
Yeah,
growth
because you hear
spurt.
people say, yeah, he grew like 5 inches over the summer.
No. I just did the ordinary
just
things
grew.
extra. I grew mentally. I came back. So he saw me then, and I went out in summer and came back. He's like, I've never seen anyone get that much better in 3 months. I said, what did you do? And I told him the conversation. I said, your conversation changed my direction. The world is about
That
bacon,
impact.
not about my.
That impact that you can have on somebody. No lies detected, you didn't. Crazy. Kenny the Jet, 2-time NBA champion. And again, instructive for our youth that's going through it.
Recruited as a junior. I didn't have one scholarship offer.
Right? Those hungry ones as you're coming up through. I know we all want to win. Winning is big. But especially in terms of development, if you don't have the we got some stuff that we're gonna get to. We got some stuff we gotta get to. But I'm hungering. We gotta go up. I said we have 3. We might end up doing 4. There's just so much. Yes, this has to be the second one that we gotta get to.
12 years old.
Okay, hold on. This is the second one. And then we're gonna do, I said, okay, so that right? We talking about journey over destination, SandCity Sports, slice of life, Monday emergency pod, huge win, New York Knicks. We sharing this now. Journey over destination, folks. Stay with me. Let's go.
So I told my mother, I said, I'm going to be an MC. So as the time goes on, when I hit about 16, I left home for good. And I lived on the streets of New York from 16 to like 21. I'm on the E train, sleeping on the E train. I'm sleeping in the World Trade Center. And I had South Bronx and Bridges over. I was still home. I would be sitting there like this. I'd be sitting there at the edge of the train like this. And people would have a boom box. They be blasting South Bronx. Yo, you hear this new shit? Yo, listen to this stuff. I'd be sitting right there because then there was no video, no magazine, because nothing. You put out a record, no one knew who you was. So I'd be sitting right there, record South Bronx. I have to be completely like just like this because I don't want no one to know or see or even think. This is me. The guy you think is large and all of this, he's right next to you, homeless, for no money, no nothing. Sometimes I went to sleep, I woke up, and it'd be like $10 in my lap. 12 years old, I told my mother, I said, I'm going to be an MC. So as the time goes on, when I hit about 16, I left home for good. And I lived on the streets of New York from 16 to like 21. I'm on the E train. Sleeping on the E train. I'm sleeping in the World Trade Center. And I had South Bronx and Bridges over. I was still home. I would be sitting there like this. I'd be sitting there at the edge of the train like this. And people would have a boom box. They be blasting South Bronx. Yo, you hear this new shit? Yo, listen to this stuff. And I'd be sitting right there because then there was no video, no magazine, because nothing. You put out a record, no one knew who you was. So I'd be sitting right there, record South Bronx. I have to be completely like just like this because I don't want no one to know or see or even think. This is me. The guy you think is large and all of this, he's right next to you, homeless, for no money, no nothing. Sometimes I went to sleep, I woke up, and it'd be like $10 in my lap. 12 years old, I told my mother, I said,
Unreal. That's unreal. First of all, leaving home at 16 and just being out there in society for 5 years, 16 to 21, then the major breakthrough, and it's still taking time for him to get. So he's this renowned artist in New York City and at the same time homeless, touching both sides of the spectrum at the same time. It's incredible. Journey over destination, folks. Journey over destination. You need to know where your destination is. You need to, but unbelievable. And we got one more similar story, actually, how that works out. Had it. Let's come through here. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I'm going to copy this, step up our production game. Come here. Stop sharing there. Move. Switch it up. Come back. Another story. This one's specific to the game of basketball. About the journey.
Kind of scary in a way because you never imagine to be out there, and being watched by a lot of, greats like Red Auerbach and some other guys. NBA, that's a goal, but we just want to wait and see how it turns out there this year, how things work out for me. I'm just going to continue to work hard and just hoping that they'll give me a shot in the NBA. 5'11" and 6'8". God, we talking about a foot in about a year and a half. You just can't adjust to it right off the bat. But I was kind of, going into it, getting adjusted to my height, and then as I was growing more and more each inch, I was just, getting to love basketball. I didn't like basketball at first, but the game was just kind of growing on to me from my sisters, but it's paying off now.
4 years ago, when Dennis Rodman walked on a basketball court, few people paid attention. Now, almost everybody is paying attention, including NBA scouts like Bill Gardner of the Washington Bullets. Rodman's story is certainly a strange one. When he graduated from high school in Dallas, he didn't even play basketball. He was only 5'11". In a little over a year, he shot up to 6'8". Right now, it's paying off for Southeastern. Last night, Rodman poured in 28 points, just a little over his season average, to help the Savages upset 14th-ranked OCC. In another year, playing basketball could pay off big and wind up making Rodman a wealthy young man. Southeastern coach Jack Hedden discovered Rodman when he saw him in a pickup game. Next year, there's a good chance he'll be watching him play with the world's finest in the NBA.
In the mid-1980s, Bloomer Sullivan Gym was the place to be. In its heyday, every seat was full and standing room was just as hard to come by, all because basketball fans wanted to see Rodman and the Savages. For 3 seasons at Southeastern Oklahoma State, Rodman found a home for himself at Bloomer Sullivan Gym. He averaged 25 points and 15 rebounds a game, leaving no doubt that he gave it his all.
He was like a kid playing a game. He loved it. You could tell the emotion. He just enjoyed playing the game, especially game time when the crowd was there.
He was a spark plug to us. He just had so much energy about himself. He was enthusiastic about the game. There's no doubt about it. And he brought a whole new level of playing for all of us.
He had natural ability and he had natural emotion. And you don't see that very often.
Dennis Rodman used to score a lot of points. A lot of people don't realize that. If he had been in a different team, if his needs were different, he could have put up more points.
Gerald West led Southeastern with 24 points, but All-America Dennis Rodman hit the hook shot for 2 of his 19 points. He also grabbed 19 rebounds. Rodman played with a great deal of enthusiasm. Southeastern showed a great deal of balance, and the game was more physical than the Chiefs could stand. The victory put Southeastern in the national tournament next week in Kansas City.
It's kind of scary in a way because you never imagine to be out there,
Didn't even play basketball. 5'11". It's not even on my radar. Had a mango season. We call it a mango season. Anthony Davis had a mango season. Went home freshman year. It was 5'11", 6 foot. Came back sophomore year, 6'8". Junior year, 6'10", 6'11". He had that mango season. So why AD has the game that he was a guard when he's coming up. Dennis Rodman didn't even play bad. Then he had the mango season. But it just goes to that appreciation, that gratitude, that, they say that enthusiasm, right? You have those low lows, them rock bottoms, so that, when you do begin to have success, you have a firm and a strong foundation, right? Firm and a strong foundation to build and to grow on. You know what this is, folks. OKC up 8, 5 minutes to go. It's a good game, but you know why we are here tonight on this emergency episode this Monday. Go New York, go New York. You know what it is, folks. I know in the Commonwealth you're feeling some type of a way. You better feel some type of a way, because you messed around and you found out. This thing is going 7. Okay, and may the best team win. But that first punch landed, power punch. Celtics certainly landed a number of punches, but the first power punch was delivered by the New York Knicks under the capable leadership of Tom Thibodeau. And we're in for a great series, and it's a beautiful. Thanks, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in to SandCity Sports. I am your host, the Cape Cod Kid, artist formerly known as Andre King. And we will see you again the next time. Peace. Yes, this is how we